Hey, this is Scott Photography Banzai here with another comparison video, in this case two waterproof cameras. The interesting thing about this is if you buy something like this camera, retail price, it's going to be the same as what I got for this camera. So you definitely can get a lot more if you spend a bit of time looking for something used that might work out for what you're trying to do. In this case, around 200 bucks for the kit lens plus the Nikon AW1. And then this I actually got a lot cheaper. But if you were to buy retail, it's like $250, something like that. But I paid actually 50 bucks or around that. Anyways, so I'm gonna try these out, do some comparisons with photo and video, see how they work. It's actually raining today, and with my whole setup, the two cameras plus the GoPro, I don't have to worry at all about water. So if it rains again. Things to take note of with these two cameras: one has a 1-inch sensor approximately, the other one is 1/2.3 inch, so a lot smaller sensor. Obviously that's going to give a big advantage to the larger camera. Equivalent lenses, we've got 28-140 approximately and 30-74, so you don't get as much range with this kit lens on the Nikon, but you could always switch it out. Of course, you'll lose water resistance if you don't use this lens or the other lens that does have that setup. Another thing to take note of is that one camera has RAW support, the other does not, so I'll be shooting RAW and JPEG just so I can get a difference of the two cameras as much as possible. This time, before I get into photos, I'm going to do some video real quick. In this case, they both have 1080p 30 frames a second, which is what we're going to use. Alright, the two cameras set up in video mode, see how they look. I have the Fujifilm slightly zoomed in, so it's maybe a little closer to the 30mm equivalent. See how they look together. It's actually a lot better, I'm sure, than the last little test I did with the Canon S200. If it does zoom, here's the extent of what we can get with the two cameras fully zoomed. A little bit more. That should be good. Just let it run for a second. You can get a general idea of what they look like in video. The interface is actually relatively similar with these two cameras because they are waterproof. They don't have any dials, they've just got the buttons, which I guess is easier for the camera companies to make waterproof. Interesting thing with these cameras is that they can be so quiet. I have the sound on. Usually I turn sounds off on cameras, but with these ones, definitely need some type of indication the photo has actually been taken. I prefer not to have the camera show the picture that was just taken. It just slows things down. It's not super great in my opinion, but that would at least give you another option if you didn't want any sound. Looks like the Nikon also turns off the timer every photo, which is super irritating. Some of the clear benefits, obviously one has a little bit better handling, the other one is smaller, so you could put it in a pocket very easily. You're not going to do that with the larger camera. It does have the other lens, as I mentioned. I think it's a 10mm f2.8. I do have it in black. I couldn't find, actually I would have preferred the black version of this camera, but for the money there are benefits either way with these cameras. One is very pocketable, the other one is better handling in general. Specifically, this zoom lens is mechanical, it's not a digital zoom. So it's a little easier to use, and just generally there are more buttons, they're nicer, everything's a little bit larger on that camera. There's nothing wrong with buying used cameras, used lenses. Depends on where you get it, of course. If you go eBay or something, it's quite a bit more risky compared to other options. Two of my affiliates, KH and Use Photo Pro, they usually have a warranty on their gear. It depends on the quality level that the camera or lens is at, but most of the, I think only like as is and maybe another one that you don't get the warranty. You just have to make sure on that. But in this case, I do have a warranty on the Nikon camera that I bought from the Used Photo Pro place. It's clear even in these simple situations, the Fujifilm is struggling a little bit with focus. Of course, you can get similar cameras like this that will probably be better at focusing, but just things to think about. Again, more value with finding something like this instead. I didn't buy these cameras because I want to go into the water. I bought them because of the versatility with having a camera that is over-engineered. So in this case, if it does start raining or raining pretty heavily, I don't really need to be concerned. Of course, the Nikon camera here was a lot more expensive when it came out fully new, but now that it is cheaper, they're a decent option. This will apply to regular cameras as well. The point is to look around, see what's available, check out used stuff. There are options that you can get some type of warranty. In this case, I do have a warranty with this camera, which is nice. And it, of course, extremely lower cost compared to what it was when it was retail. So 200 or 190 actually versus I think it was 800 or something like that when it came out, which honestly was probably a bit overpriced, but it's a unique specialty camera. There are other options. Just look around, look at specific features that you want. You look at the sensor size, look at the lenses. Is it able to use a different lens? In this case, no, it's fixed to the camera. And consider specific features that will be beneficial to you. In this case, they both work just fine, but in this case, you're gonna get RAW support, you're gonna get interchangeable lenses, larger sensor, more options, more functionality, which is always nice to have. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed this video. Talking about options and comparing these two cameras. I'm Scott for Banzai, thanks.